Good morning. It is Sunday morning, and I just put out the video on making this thing right here, which goes on the table saw for edge sanding. And like I said in the video, this was rattling through my brain as I was doing the last one with the blade that I cut the teeth off of, and I thought that this would be an interesting alternative. And certainly one if you're not interested in cutting a blade, like the teeth off a blade. You know, if you're not into metalworking in any way, you can make this one from plywood. And it really doesn't have to be Baltic birch. It could be any reasonably good quality plywood. The important thing here is getting the outside diameter exactly right. And when it comes down to that, what you could actually do is cut it out fairly roughly on the table saw, not on the table saw, with the jigsaw, with these rings already glued up, okay? So you have a blank, and then you can put it on the table saw and you can lathe it down, very similar to what I did on the lathe with the one that I showed there, or the expanding one though, or the spring-loaded one is a better way of describing that. So that you get it, it's just, you know, you're gonna have to be doing a little bit, trying to belt, doing a little bit, trying to belt, and it's going to take a while, but you'll get it done. And like I said also in the video, I think that this is going to last a long time, okay, for edge sanding. And this this belt is 60 grit. Is it 60? No, it's 80 grit. 80 grit makes a pretty good edge. And then the big advantage is that it's all in line. Like, it's not the circular swirl marks like the other one with the saw blade. So you get a much straighter appearance as far as the sanding goes. It still could, like, it needs sanding from there, but what you wind up with is something that's very straight and flat and square. I got a square here, a little one, and it is dead on. Well, it's as accurate as your table saw is set up. If you got a really rough surface, you should be cranking up a little bit. Not too much. Because if you take your time, depends on the speed of your saw. Mine turns at, I think, around 3,600 RPM at the arbor. So if this is turning too fast, it will burn the wood if the wood is moving too slowly. So you want to be pushing it through there fairly quick, so it doesn't burn. And it does give a really good surface. And there's no, like, comparing this to a jointer for edge jointing, there's no chance of chip out, right? You get your really tough wood with curly grain and going all over the place. You run it through the jointer and, you run the risk of taking a big hunk out. And the same thing with a hand plane, right? Whereas this, it gets things straight. Here's my good straight edge, okay, which is just a piece of an aluminum extrusion. It's head seal for commercial doors without the stuff inside there. But I rely on this as a straight edge, nice straight edge, and this is absolutely, absolutely perfect. Take my word for it. And check the other side, should be absolutely perfect as well. So yeah, good results you can get from that. For, if it takes you afternoon to do this, and then, you have it, and, like I said, the belt will take a long time to wear out, depending on how much you use it. And then also, it's not that big a deal to change it. All you need to do is cut this one off, and then spread some glue on there. Wood glue, again, I would recommend. Slip the other one on, you're good to go in a couple hours, right? Let it dry, and you're good to go. Excellent little project, I think. So you might be saying, what's going on with the bandsaw, John? How come you're not working on that? Or we haven't seen anything from that yet? And I have to be honest that after 10 years of doing this on YouTube and, getting to the point where I'm fairly comfortable in that I don't have to, crank out content constantly, I decided to reward myself by taking a little bit of time off here and there. And as the next 5 years go past, because like I talked about this a while ago, like probably a couple of months ago, I'm going to be 60 in 5 years. And for some reason, when I vocalized that, or when I actually wrote it, it kind of, I don't know, latched into my head, and it made me think, you know, wow, 60, that's, okay, 50 was nothing, but 60, you know, you're well over the hump, and you're rapidly skiing down the slope to the bottom, okay, at 60. So I decided to wind things down over the next 5 years, not to the point where I'm going to stop, but slow down considerably and focus on the things that I need, like projects that I need, and bigger projects. I enjoy doing bigger projects more, as long as there's not plans involved. When there's plans involved, I don't enjoy it, but bigger projects, like I need some bigger furniture projects for my house and so on and so forth, and stuff like that. So that's what I'll be doing. That's the extended 5-year plan. This is not going to happen right now. You know, I'm still going to be putting out content, but I'm just tapering off, tapering. In 5 years, I'll still be putting out videos, but there won't be as many. And yeah, so that's the news there. And the bandsaw, well, like I said, I stalled out a bit on the bandsaw because of the plans and my need to get the plans done before I post the first video of the project. But then since I talked about this before, but I decided to do it. I'm going to release the part of the plan that covers the frame along with the first video of the bandsaw, and I think that's going to be this weekend coming up. My big problem with this is the plans. Also, I had 1/2-inch blades. I've only been able to put a 1/4-inch blade on here because for the life of me, I can't find those 1/2-inch blades out here. Like, they should have been hanging up there with the 1/4-inch ones. I got 4 1/4-inch, and I had 2 1/2-inch that I ordered at exactly the same time. I've only got the 1/4-inch ones up there. So the 1/2-inch have run away. They've escaped the compound. I either need to order new ones or I need to look harder. So I got to clean up the shop a little bit to get ready for another project, which I'm going to be starting probably today, actually. And that's one for the Maker's Mob, but it'll be on my main channel. Right? It's a promotion for the Maker's Mob, right? And it's making something interesting, which I always do. I make something interesting. Okay? Always making something interesting. You know, interesting to different people, maybe. So that's it. That's all I need to say. Oh, I should say maybe I took the wheels off here to bring them out and give them 2 coats of water-based polyurethane. I sprayed them. I had the sprayer set up for another reason. So I did that. I got the wheels all set and ready to go. And I think I talked about this in the video before, but here are the bright orange tires that I bought for the wheels, which I think is the way to go. These are a little bit expensive, I think $30. But then, okay, the other way is inner tubes, and also I used silicone before. But you got to buy those too, right? You got to buy a tube of silicone. That's $10, you know, $7 to $10 for good clear. It has to be clear silicone. And then the inner tubes, I don't know how much inner tubes are. I bought them before, but they're, you know, okay, you buy the proper thing for $30, or you buy the improper thing for around half that. And, you know, how long are these going to last? These are thick, like 1/8 of an inch. So that's the other thing. You have to reduce the size of the wheel to accommodate this. So you wind up with full 12 inches, which I'm pretty sure I do. I never actually measured it. I did, but I can't remember it. Memory's going. Yeah, 12 inches. They're both 12 inches. They're both exactly the same size. I actually sized these in the same way on the router table as I did that wheel, this wheel. So with a 5/8 inch hole, because everything here is 5/8, 5/8 inch shaft, and then I just drill these out bigger so they'll clear the 5/8 inch shaft on the upper wheel, and the lower wheel has the shaft going all the way through. I'll apply with spacer here, screw drilled on an angle, driven in there, lock it in place like a key. I did that after I glued the shaft in, because you definitely don't want to be driving any screw or anything in there like that. When it's not glued in place, you'll throw it off, right? Put the shaft in, glue it in place, drill the hole carefully, and then I just used a machine screw, a number 10 machine screw that's long enough, and I also glued that in. So it's not threaded in or anything, it's just going in like on a diagonal through the shaft into the wood. Okay, so that'll keep that shaft from turning, which is important. Okay, so that's it. That's all I've got to say.